A hurricane is coming, so we have to get everything prepared. Well, it's not actually a hurricane. By the time it gets to Kentucky, it's going to be a tropical depression. But this one's different because this one is going to bring possible tornadoes, high winds, power outages, and torrential rainfall. So, that being said, I have to make sure everything is ready for these animals because this is going to be like a 2-day, 3-day event. The first thing I have done is, let me turn you around. What, Toto? I'm not going to pet you. We have to get ready for the hurricane. So the kitty cats are going to get locked up in the garage tonight. I'm going to feed them in here. I already have food enough for a couple of days, water, just in case we can't get out here. And they'll be taken care of. They'll be nice and safe. So I'll come and give them a can of food this evening, and they'll be happy and content. They have places to sleep. There's Toto up there on my tools. Gonna knock them down like always. Anyway, so that's where the kitty cats will be, except for the catio cats, and I'll take you where they're gonna be next. And when I feed tonight, I'll feed in the garage so I can get them all in there and get them locked up. So you might be wondering what this horrible orange tubes are in front of our garage. Well, they're actually dam barriers that we purchased because when we have torrential rains coming, they flood our garage. And this would not be good with this amount of rain that they're saying is coming. So these are filled with water and air, and blocking off the front doors of the garage. Problem is all the water comes running down this hill because the garage sits lower, and instead of going into the drain like it should, it goes through the garage door because the drain's too little. So we have it so that it's situated that it'll go around the garage and off to drainage. I just have tables and stuff blocking it because the wind's going to be so bad. And this will help keep those kitties dry as well. Now the shop cat, she's going to be locked up in the shop, and she'll have plenty of food for a couple of days as well. We just want to make sure everybody's taken care of in case we can't get out there and the weather is just so horrific that we can't get out there to feed them, that they're taken care of. As I said, this storm is different. The reason it's different is it's going to last several days, and we can't just run and sit in a shelter for several days. No, move. These are the catio cats. They're nice and safe indoors. Nova, Sylvester, and Cornflakes. I have to keep a chain lock on the door because Sylvester knows how to open doors. Now for the dogs, Louie, Azzy, Sage is over there. I don't know where Lucy is. I had Orion, there's her toy, come in here and clean up this weed area in here because there is a little dog shelter, and since the wind is going to be blowing from the direction of this area, it will give them some, this fence will give them some protection, and these two walls. So if they want to come in out of the rain, they have this resource, and they have the little greenhouse, and I leave that door open for them so they can come in and out. And there's one of the dogs now checking it out. I put this little plexiglass cover over their food, hoping that that'll keep some of the rain out. The rain is coming from the other direction, but this might keep it from falling into the bowl. So the cats and the dogs are taken care of. Realistically, Louie and Lucy, or Azzy and Lucy, will probably end up inside at some point, especially if there's thunder and lightning, because they hate the thunder and lightning. And Richard's gone down below to check on the cabin in the cave to make sure there's nothing down there that needs to be locked up and taken care of. So for the chickens, I went ahead and put on a couple of new tarps so that they have some dry area, and made sure that they have, they're able to get up off the ground. So they should be good. The next thing we did to prepare for this storm is that we braced up the fence because it really played havoc on it, the last storm did. And I'm scared to death the fence is going to go over, and then the dogs are going to get out and they're going to run away because they're scared to death. As you can see, we've got our gates up in our driveway, and we partially have a solar opener installed on it. We have the actuators on it, but we don't have the battery or the electronics to it. And so what Richard has done is he's locked them in place, and he's gone out and he's also made sure that they can't blow, because we don't want to mess up the actuators. We don't want the wind messing up the actuators. So we have to make sure that everything's in line for the animals, everything's prepared for them, that they'll be taken care of just in case we can't take care of them. And last, but definitely not least, are the sheep and the goats. Now, what we're doing with the sheep and the goats is we are taking them out hay and putting them in the stalls that stay nice and dry, so that, and giving them enough hay that they can munch on it if we can't get out to feed them grain. The hay's better for them anyway. So they'll be taken care of that way. Same with the goats. This is a goat pen. The big one is a sheep pen. That's a goat pen. And they have their own barn. So I think we're prepared, as long as we don't lose any trees over the fence line, which is a scary thought. Which I just noticed we have a big tree growing up in this pasture over here. The sheep have been over, or the goats have been over here clearing it out, and they'll have it cleared out. And my little shelter that I had Orion put the roof on, the last storm that came through, it just ripped it off, and the shelter was laying on its side. The roof is in this pasture. So, yeah. Terrifying winds out here because we're out in the open on a flat surface, and the winds just rip through. The last time a hurricane came through like this one into Kentucky, there was so much damage that some people didn't have power for over a month. And this was back in, I don't know, 2006 or something. I don't remember what year it was exactly. But yeah, so it can be terrifying. I'm also charging all of the little power stations and the phones and making sure we have those all available to us. Hopefully we won't have winds like that, but the winds are pretty strong here when storms like this come over.